So, CBF's been updating for quite some time, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember his updates being this long, though. I don't know, it gives me more time to shift through my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah. So, how's the weather been lately?
We're in space. What weather?
I mean, have you never heard of a meteor shower? There's one of those every now and again.
Doesn't those only apply to, like, planetoids, really?
And we're back!
Oh, shit.
CBF, thank the Lord, Kira Yamato!
The update is finally finished.
Okay, number one, never say that again. Number two, finally.
Boy, voice chip has been fully processed and everything. How do I sound, boys?
Smoother than ever.
Yeah, you sound pretty good.
As smooth as the shine on me.
Yeah, okay, maybe don't get us to try and kiss your shiny metal ass that hard, man.
Bite my shiny metal ass, not kiss it.
I mean, well, in one case, it would serve as Longcrit's pain, so I'm down with that.
I mean, I have human teeth, but Kaiser can go ahead and try if he likes.
Fuck no, babe.
So what did I miss while I was in stasis?
I watched Gundam The Origin.
Sweet, yes. So, Longcrit, you are finally understanding why Zeon did nothing wrong.
And why Char is the Chad Hasnable.
Yes.
I understand why Zeon did absolutely everything wrong.
Well, they didn't do everything wrong.
Yes. It's their fault. They didn't have to be the Britain to the Zeon's America.
I mean, they dropped a space colony that they had already conquered, and they wiped Australia off the map.
But let's not act like the Feddies are entirely blameless.
Also, number one, okay, it was a part of Australia, not the whole thing. Let's get that one thing straight. And number two, modern problems require modern solutions.
Okay, let's get one thing straight, Kaiser. Imagine a world without Roo the kangaroo. Imagine how sad Winnie the Pooh would be.
Good.
Now that's not a world I want to live in.
Whoa, okay, hold on a minute. Roo's cool, what are you talking about? Did you watch the Goofy movie? I mean, not Goofy movie, Tigger movie, shit.
No, but I don't care.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Winnie the Pooh is an inferior mascot to the Hato.
You are the first person to ever actually have some kind of beef with Winnie the Pooh. That is impressive.
Both I and Greta Thunberg are very disappointed in you.
And I'm only saying this because my programming says fuck
our almighty overlord Xi Jinping.
Yeah, okay, don't give me that shit. We've all seen the programming episode of Futurama.
Which was one of the best in my opinions.
We regret to inform you that this joke has been censored by the CCP.
Fuck you, Winnie the Pooh man.
But about Gundam The Origin though, so this is gonna be a bit shocking, but I actually didn't like it that much.
So what you're saying is that you have no taste.
I think my expectations were built up just maybe like a little bit too high. I really liked episodes 1 and 2 and a lot of 3 and the ending of 6, but just quite a bit of that in-between stuff, maybe not so much my jam.
I guess fair enough, mainly episode 4 being probably the weakest episode of the bunch. But let's start with the strong stuff.
Actually, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Make Origin great again.
Well, to a great degree it is Shar-Aza-Noble. I didn't feel so hot about what they did with Dozl-Za because let's be honest, it was basically a page 1 rewrite. They completely rewrote him.
To be fair, was there a lot to him back in 0079?
Not that I remember.
His character was tough meathead with family.
And now he's a DILF.
He was kinda as we know him in the end, but only like a little bit. He still like did the salute and everything for the enemy soldiers that died as well as his own, which seems out of character relative to like how he was in the original series still, so there's that. The scene where he gets with his wife, by the way.
Yeah. It's like a...
Oof.
That was a bit rushed and weird.
Yeah, like I already knew from like the original series that the wife was young anyways, but like, goddamn.
That's a bit too young.
Yeah, you know.
No, they're both in like their
don't know
20s.
Oh, right, they were. She didn't look like she was in her 20s though. She looked like, I don't know, like 16.
CBF, I notice you are wearing a fairy tale shirt. Explain yourself.
Who decorated my Hado body with a fairy tale thing?
You know what I mean. Generally speaking, I wasn't keen on any of the Dozle stuff, except the saluting thing maybe and one or two other little bits that aren't coming to me right now.
Really? Not like the part where his like brother died and his reaction to that?
Or the part where he just starts rationalizing the whole family aspect and how, oh, a lot of these soldiers are dying to protect their families. I'll make this my rationale for being a warrior now, to protect my own family.
Or toughing up Garma?
I feel that the way they did it maybe was a bit much, but then again I get the point, because he's a bit much, and he's clearly just constructing reasons on the spot to justify his actions.
Frankly unjustifiable. They dropped colonies.
They killed half the population of planet Earth. Yes, that wasn't deliberate. They weren't intending on the colony of Side 2 splitting in 3, but it still happened.
And they did kill every single one who was in that colony via its drop.
Well, not just the drop, but also gassing them beforehand.
Yeah, by the way, CBF, you told me episode 5 would have a lot of, like, really feel-bad stuff. You set the bar too high. I didn't really feel very bad at anything in episode 5.
I guess it's like a feel-bad sort of thing in like a broad sense, just like the sheer scale of it all, really.
No. CBF's pointed out specific moments to me.
Oh, okay.
What were those moments?
I just said that there were moments, I didn't say what they were.
Yeah, you said that there were specific moments, is what I mean.
But yeah, the first one was that entire story with like Yuki and his girlfriend, right as the colony was basically being gassed and everyone was... That was hard to watch, just like, because you get to know them for a little bit and then you just slowly watch them die and realize that, oh shit,
Yeah.
everyone's dead and dies completely in vain.
If you like that, you're gonna like To Your Eternity.
To Your Eternity is really good.
I just didn't really care though, like they introduced them pretty much then and there, and then they die and it's like, okay, this is kind of sad, this is bad. It's more so there to nail home the point.
Yeah, it's definitely meant to punctuate just how fucked the entire event was.
Yeah, like these people represent the future, hopes and dreams for the future. They are stand-ins for all the other people that die that we don't get to know.
Right. The whole Operation British thing was very well done. Another thing that I liked was just, I guess you could say, Char's entire introduction. Well,
All of Char.
back when he was Catsfall.
Literally
This is
all of
the
this.
Char
All
show.
of this was goated. All of it. Just all of it.
Completely strong. Base Char.
I do have one question. When Shah caught Admiral Revel at the end, what made him so goddamn sure that Revel was going to perpetuate the war?
Revel? Oh, right. Actually, I think, because I'm not even sure how canon this is. Well, then again, yeah, has to do with what Char knows. Then, like, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, he would have no reason to, given the destruction that was already caused anyways, so.
And to be fair, this is technically its own canon. This does adapt the backstory part of the manga that's meant to basically just be a full-on redo of the 1 Year War.
I guess he just assumed that was the case because Revel is a higher up.
Yeah, and because of just everything that's been going on so far with the war.
I found the negotiations, by the way, interesting with the discussion between Degwin and Revel. That was one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. Only for him to get back home and be like, yeah, we will not give in to Zeon, fuck Zeon, we will continue the war with Zeon and push them back. And Degwin's just like, god fucking damn it.
Fuck this guy, fuck the Fetties!
Yeah, he made the freaking, what was it, Zeon? Granted, I'm not sure if this is canon anymore because of Origin, but there's like this speech within the series called like, Zeon is exhausted.
Oh yeah, that was in there.
Okay. Because not only further hones in on like the Federation's advantages in the war, but just how much the cycle of misunderstanding and conflict kind of repeats itself. It's very interesting. But, like, one of the things I liked about Char's introduction has to do with, like, in relation to his father, Zeon Daikun himself.
Yeah, Zeom Zum Daikon. I remembered the name.
Congratulations, you're no longer a fake fan. Anyways.
Yay!
I mean, granted, I'm not gonna say that, oh, he's super deep or anything, because it's more so how his story affects, like, literally everything else, because he's practically the impetus for everything.
You know what I felt was weird? They didn't canonize the idea that Degwin poisoned him.
Well, kinda?
It's kinda left up in the air for the audience to interpret.
Yeah, because, like, Mobile Suit Gundam treated it as canon, but then he never admitted it in the series. He didn't imply that he did it. None of his family did that either. They took advantage of the chaos and kind of, used that to build resentment towards the Federation. But there was never any actual confirmation that he did it, either textual or implied. Just Ron Baral's dad said that he did it, and the series treated it as truth.
Fair.
At least within the context of him and Shah.
It would make sense that it's more of a case where, at this point, everyone's suspecting the Zeon family that poisoned him, rather than them outright
Zabi
stating
family.
that it was the case.
You said the Zeon family. Shame on you.
Yes, how dare you. Char is the Zeon family. The Zabi families are different. But, like...
No, it's technically that. No, it's the Daikun family. You're both wrong. Daikun,
Yeah.
not Zeon.
No, I never said it's the Zeon family. I just said it's the Zabis.
So it's Kaiser's fault because he said Zeon.
Kaiser said Zeon family.
Can we just not focus on the semantics right now and focus on the bromance between Char and Garma?
The bromance between Shara and Gamma. Was it just me or was that? It was a little gay. A little bit. It was just a little bit...
gay.
It'll just a little bit yaoi-ish.
It's a little gay.
Wow, human homophobe much?
I'm sure it's just in my head, but I don't know, dude. Just the way, like, Shah leaned in sometimes. Just, it kind of felt like it was going in that direction. It had a little bit that vibe.
I mean, listen, Char is such a Chad that he basically transcends the confines of sexuality.
Generally speaking, I found the series a little bit weird with the subject of sexuality, because I remember there was the one time when Lady Harmon Crowley was going down the stairs of the tank in episode 1, and they framed it from such a position that you could see the arse and thighs pretty well. Or like, I don't know, the series really gets you to notice Cassilia's thighs. And then there was that one scene where it just cuts to Cassilia's room and she's completely naked, and I'm like, why did I need to see this?
Now, see, I didn't ask for this, but I'm not complaining.
I'm complaining. I'm complaining. I'd go as far as to say I desired not to see that.
Well, to be fair, this is younger Cassilia, not the old and growing Cassilia.
Does not matter.
Let's get back to some of the actual important stuff about Origin.
I really liked the way they built Shah's character in the early episodes.
Yes.
Where we see, like, the stuff with his father, his sense of pride, both in himself, his heritage, and his dad, and his increasing both resentment for his enemies, his bloodthirst, and his ruthlessness, and his kind of desperation and gutsiness to protect himself and stand up for, like, himself and his family. One of my favorite scenes is when he's just in the tank, he presses the button, the controls come up, and even when Lady Crowley's afraid, and we all know what a badass Lady Crowley is.
You mean Haman.
Her name is Crowley. It's her last name. Lay off. He just goes all in. That's Shah's first blood, that's when he first gets the taste of it, but then you see him pushed that much more far when you get the guy in the knight's armor, and they just have the sword fight, and just... headshot, and just when he's not dead, he has the balls to knock the whole, like, not veranda, but you know, the whole, what is it, scaffolding down.
Yep.
Yes. It really does a good job at showcasing how much Char's ruthlessness, like, grows, because Char was already pretty attentive and intelligent from the very start, which is further facilitated by the fact that, you know, he's the older brother in his family. But this also facilitates just the fact that he has to know. He not only knows how fucked everything is, but he's smart enough to understand, at least to some level, how far that bullshit goes and how much he needs to be willing to do in order to not only survive, but achieve the things that his father would want, or what he sees as right.
Okay, the way you do that handed gesture, all I can think is, Shah thinks! Shah thinks!
And then there's the scene later in episode 2 with that one guy where he just beats the living shit out of the guy and is prepared to kill him.
Oh my god, he's crazy.
That was absolutely amazing, because yeah, like, he's paranoid. Yeah, maybe he was tailing him, maybe he isn't, but either way, like, he's very ruthless, but also, like, very paranoid. It actually reminds me of Scarface to some extent, to where it just builds this type of man. Where, like, you get the origin, you get the desperation and the desire, and then you get these actions that this man takes that sort of make him more and more comfortable with doing this kind of thing, and eventually you get the place where the ruthlessness marries the paranoia, and you get a man ready to throw hands at, and more than hands, I suppose, at the drop of a fucking hat, even when it's not deserved.
Oh yeah.
And then we get to episode 3.
Wait a sec, you skipped a really crucial moment. The moment that I thought really made Shah who he was is the bit where his hope died. The bit when he received the letter that said his mother died, because that was the first time we saw that look in his eyes.
Oh my god.
Did you see, like, that look of sort of hopelessness and has to this mean-spiritedness? I think that was the moment in the show when Dynazenon, as we know him, was born. That bit where he finally lost the last thing he was holding out for.
Yeah, that sense of nihilism.
Like, he became way more ruthless afterwards, to the point where the look he gave his sister as he was leaving was also just damn.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was super dramatic, but I really liked that part.
Yeah, that actually reminded me very, very strongly of Dio Brando in JoJo Part 1. That look that he makes when he's looking at his dying father and, like, looks at the grave of his father as he prepares to leave and join the Joestar household. You know, that look of bitterness and malintent and resentment, but also drive.
Yeah.
It's like he straight up knows he's leaving his sister with nothing at this point, except with the found family she has, but he does not care anymore because he has his own purpose. A purpose of revenge.
Well, he kind of assumes he's gonna be fine, because we know Shah does care about Sailor.
Yeah, extremely.
More importantly is his drive for revenge.
And not just for revenge, but I mean, it kind of shows its face in, like, the original series, but a bit more later on in the movies. That, like, again, Shah understands the, like, larger ramifications of the war and how wrong the Zombies basically perverted Zeon's legacy and what it actually means in the larger context. So you can tell that this is the moment where he...
Yeah, but he just doesn't care. He just pushes the war into happening.
Yep. And remember when in 0079, the part where he basically just betrays and gets Garma killed?
Yeah.
He had training for that in Origin. He had practice when he was hunted by Cassilia.
Yeah, there's also the bit where, like, he killed the other guy just because he knew his identity and he knew he, like, couldn't count on him. It was too much of a risk. And then there was the bit where he put the blanket over, like, a sleeping Garma that was echoing the words he said earlier that day when he stood up for Shah. And the look he gives him is so cold-blooded, it reminded me of a farmer fattening up a pig.
Yep.
Oh my god, yeah, Shah's just brutal this entire time.
Just sets someone up for them to get blown up by someone else. Someone who wants Char dead.
It's extra fucked up, though, when he did it with that one classmate who knew that he was who he actually was, because he had him killed at the hands of his own people, but only after using him to dispatch an enemy.
Yep. Even after the guy was trying to assure him, like, hey, yo, I may know who you are, but I'm on your side. Don't worry. Char's like, no, I don't care. No one needs to know who I am. Fuck you. Bye-bye.
No witnesses.
Honestly, I thought that was one of the least bad things he did, because that was pretty understandable.
True, but at the same time, that was ruthless as hell.
It was, but that guy was a weak link. It was a weak link.
True. But a lot of the stuff, but especially in regards to, like, conveying not only his paranoia, but also his sense of isolation in regards to just who he is in a larger context of the setting and just what he wants and how he sees everything, which is interesting.
I was just gonna say, the thing that earned him the rank of Lieutenant Commander, just when he rushes in his Shah custom mobile suit into the battlefield at 3 times the speed, as you guys would say, and just is like vroom, 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 vroom.
He straight up challenged God himself at that moment, too.
Like the bit where he's going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, clearly being disturbed by the G-forces of the suit, but just going past all the enemy ships. Oh my god, Shaw, why? Why are you so goated?
Yeah, the man's just going hardcore on everything.
That was insane. Both in terms of like the animation and everything, but also just how much you could feel the loss of life during that combat and just how frantic it is for everyone.
It basically cements how incredibly terrifying and advanced the concept of mobile suits really are. It's also interesting at that moment how Oshar was so, like, excited when he was, like, even practicing using the mobile suit. Like, you can tell that the experience, I suppose, that sort of challenge is just something that he wasn't exactly used to, but he makes great use of without necessarily, like, overcoming him.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the kind of man that Shah will be in Zeta.
And I also just love the things with Rambo Ral and Hamon. Their upbringing, how he was already like a bit of a feisty guy, but would eventually mellow out by the time we got to... Well, at least mellow out a little bit by the time we get to 079, even though he already realizes that, yeah, the stuff that the guys on the side I'm fighting for are doing, shit's fucked. They dropped a colony. That's not warfare, that's slaughter.
Even that's an understatement, but yeah.
Yeah, that is indeed the big gay.
By the way, can I just say, I did not really care for the space fights. I liked the stuff with the mobile suits, but then when you got like the Musais and the Earth Federation ships just shooting lasers and you have the explosions, a lot of that just having kind of like And a lot of the command room giving orders, like planning, a lot of that having like
And to be fair, I thought that actually worked and sold how it actually felt like a military operation going on.
Not just that, but also, like, sets that expectation before mobile suits come in and just shift the course of the entire war itself.
No, I mean, I just didn't really care for the space fights. Anything that didn't have mobile suits doing their thing, I just didn't particularly care. I also just didn't care for the Minovsky plotline. Yes, I understand how it's important, blah 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 blah. I just wasn't engaged. I just didn't care. So like, okay, he died, whatever.
But wanna know what is better? Aside from all the stuff with how Rambo Ral and Hamon effectively just watched everything as they became more jaded and realized that, hey, we're kind of being forced into this. I also, aside from that, and I really love their songs, I also just, when you come back to Sayla in episode 5, and at this point, she has lost everything. Her found family at this point is dead. Her mother is dead. Her father's dead. Her brother, as far as she knows,
is dead.
And then these thugs just come in, just start shooting everything.
Oh yeah, Sayla just played no games.
She and all the actual residents there have to fight back. And when she takes that first shot and starts tearing up again, she's like, damn.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
That was both badass and somber that now even she's being tainted by this war in a rather harsh way.
I feel weird that Amuro got so much screen time though. I also feel it's weird that he knew about the Gundam. Like, we didn't need this.
I mean, to be fair, I'm guessing this was, like, because I'm pretty sure Origin is, like, based on the original light novel.
No, manga. Because this is covering the backstory portion of the manga.
Yeah, I like how it gave Amuro a little more initial emotional depth, though. It does seem a little underwhelming in comparison when he's just kind of this kid that gets plopped into the war. So giving him a bit of a backdrop makes things a bit more interesting.
Yes, especially with his despondence is probably a good word in regards to his lack of relationship with his father, his family, and everything, and just how much he just keeps to himself.
Yeah. I liked, by the way, Gamma, how he was for a lot of the show, but then by the end, he just barely got to the Gamma we know. That was neat. That was cool.
Yeah.
He was less hot-headed, more charismatic, though never as charismatic as Char will be, because damn, he just sells everything.
Yeah, my favorite character in the series, or one of the most, just in regard to their sheer level of embellishments, was actually Degwin. I really liked the stuff they did with Degwin.
Degwin was great.
Yup. I especially love when he's chewing out,
Giran.
Yeah, Giran. When he's chewing out Giran for the colony drops, he's like, you already have the blood of billions on your hands.
Yeah!
How much more blood must be
That was
spilled
so
before your
good.
thirst will be quenched?
Giran, what the fuck?
Yeah, but like, it's too late. Giran's too powerful. He has too much influence.
He is literally Space Hitler.
I also really like the discussion between Degwin and Cassilia afterwards. Also, I didn't quite get what happened. Did she basically betray Degwin by sending McVeigh to Earth for the Antarctica Treaty because she knew that he would perpetuate the war due to his greed for earthly history and artifacts?
Probably. At this point, everyone in his family except for Garma was a lost cause. They just wanted to perpetuate the war. Even though he's just like, no, this is bad. I don't want to do this if we can avoid it. Unless the other side just says, fuck you, in which case, fuck them.
Yeah, it makes you think more about his initial motivation, though.
Yeah.
Maybe he really did just kind of want power and autonomy, and then just, like, Giran took that and kind of ran with it.
Yeah, all he wanted, to a certain extent, was, hey, for the colonies to basically be independent from Earth, and for the Federation to just stop sapping their resources, and having some autonomy.
Ultimately akin to what Char's dad wanted in the first place, like just the independence from Earth Federation, except, well, he wanted to be in control.
Yeah, kinda. By the way, I may as well say I gave the series a 7 and I'm considering an 8.
Fair. I think I gave it like a 10. Easily one of my favorites. Both in terms of just the dramatic irony for Char and Ranba and like everyone from the Zeon family, just how it embellishes and builds upon their characters.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man, some stuff held it back for me like a little bit. Like some of the stuff that they do with Amuro, some of the space fights, a lot of the Dozel stuff. Dozel stuck out like a sore thumb for me.
I think I generally prefer, like, War in the Pocket and possibly consider it better, but Origin is definitely a strong contender for one of the better Gundams, especially UC stuff.
Honestly, Origin's my favorite one of the bunch.
Fair enough.
Okay, I can respect that.
And also the music is damn great, but enough about that. Let's get to another mecha highlight, since you just finished Dynazenon on episode 10, correct?
I did just finish Dynazenon on episode 10. But before that, I just want to finish up with one thing. Didn't like the style of Origin quite as much as other things I've seen.
Fair. I personally really love that sort of like almost, like not quite realistic, but more realistic and detailed than most anime that are even more just like in a different kind of style.
That's cool, I just didn't quite appreciate its straightness and a lot of the CGI and just laser beams and stuff. I liked the cartoonishness of the original series more. I liked the kind of grit, the color palette, and the kind of Vietnaminess of 8th MST more. And I liked the color palette and just kind of vibrancy of War in the Pocket more.
Gotcha. The CG is a bit of a mixed bag because the environmental CG is not that pleasant, but the mechs, they look surprisingly great.
Okay, yeah, no. The Zakus. I've never liked the Zakus more.
Agreed. This is some of the best mecha CG you will ever see, especially for the Zakus.
Yeah, the Zakus are super chunky. I love them. Just generally what I really love, I really pay attention to when I watch a Gundam and I see the Zakus is how they do the eye movement.
Yeah.
That's what really sells it for me.
Yeah, I love that too. That was really good.
Yeah, but anyway, Dynazenon, or rather, Dynazenon!
Going ham lately now that it's in like the final third. Now that we're getting even more of the character arcs, like sort of the climaxes of Yume's arc in particular, just those hit.
Yume's whole story is fucking great. Like, that was incredible. I loved almost every second of it.
Boy, the finisher in episode 10. Oh my god, holy moly, what is this even?
I loved it.
Yep, it's going ham. 9 and 10 are easily my favorites.
Definitely. I liked how they did what they did with like the art style in 10 as well, because it kind of reminds me of a lot of old Gynax stuff, you know? Like the sort of like jagged, semi-sketchy, sort of like stretchy art style, but very, very detailed and precise at the same time. It just fit well with the frantic nature of that whole situation. It's great.
Also, so much mechanical transformation porn. Yes, God. Thank you, God.
I think my favorite part for the visuals for episode 10 is when Yomogi's just rushing to break the sort of screen with Yume in it. Just the sheer sense of desperation and impact of every failed attempt, and eventually once his Dynasoldier activates and he just slams it against the screen.
Yeah, when he's like getting up off the ground and you see the speed lines behind his feet and stuff.
And just the way the blood just gushes out of him, this sense of weight and impact. Just...
Oh, speaking of blood, blood. I do remember noticing that in Origin, when Shah, like, shot that one Federation member and the blood was just, like, pooling in bubbles around the area. It reminded me of when Bunny was talking in War in the Pocket about how blood is in space, where somebody dies and you just have to rot in the area with the blood that pools up in bubbles and floats around. That was a nice touch. But yeah, back to Dyna. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, holy shit, holy fuck, holy mother of god. Yes, the transformation in episode 9.
What did they call it? Great King Kaiser Grid Knight, I think it was?
I can sense your chubon from here.
Just with, especially the sort of like beam cape. I love when they do beam cape.
Yeah, I love that touch, man. And then, like, the sun just glowing in the background for illuminating the screen. That was incredible.
Yeah, and then when you get, like, Dynazenon and Grid Knight side by side in the air being backlit, and then you get the, I forget what it's called, the new gold kaiju, it's like, yes.
Gold burn?
Yeah, you get gold burn. It's like, yes, yes, yes. Yes.
This is why I love mecha, man. This is what I love about it.
This is it. I'm not saying anime is saved because we have more toku, but I think we can all disagree. More of this. More of this. Give us more of this.
Yes, please. More of it.
People say what they say about, like, external influence. Take more toku influence. Maybe anime should have more toku influences, if this is what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, or even just, like, adapt more, like, old toku stuff into anime, like what they're going to do with Double.
Even though Double is actually a manga. The Double thing is a manga, though. Get your facts straight, Kaiser.
Let's semantics, okay?
All these Godzilla iterations coming in with those movies that people don't really like, and the new Godzilla show.
Yeah, that's not so much what I meant. I meant more like the superhero stuff. Having said that though, remember that time we got an Ultraman anime a few years ago and nobody gave a fuck?
I was probably one of the few people that watched it.
And you didn't give a fuck?
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck. I forgot that there was a second season.
Just putting it out there. Tiger and Bunny, Season 2. Hype. It has sorta, maybe some toku aesthetics just in regard to a lot of the flashiness. Tiger and Bunny, seriously overlooked anime. It's good. Like, it goes kind of iffy for the last quarter, but generally speaking, pretty good show, especially the early second half. It's just mwah. Kaburagi Kotetsu is one of my favorite anime hero characters.
And now let's get back to Dynazenon, because goddamn. Now we're also getting stuff like Chisei's character arc is finally coming into full swing about her complexes of just feeling left out of everything, which is why she just stopped going to school, because she just felt like no one cared about her there.
I love the visuals for that.
Yeah, that's really nice. Her interaction with Yume in episode 10 or 9 was excellent.
I loved that. That was so nice.
Now that both of them at their most desperate, and it just gets to it like a perfect swell when Yomogi comes in, just thinking that Goldburn was bad and just tries to save Yume from that. And then instead of going into like a dramatic, sad moment, Chisei's just like, and look at that! You don't need to fall off a bridge or anything, just come back with us. Even Yomogi's risking his life to save you right now.
No, actually, she says, you don't know what you've got when there's somebody out there who out there else is willing to rush headfirst into danger for you like that. And I'm just thinking, I mean, I'm pretty sure Gamma would do that, but yeah, okay, point made.
Yeah. And then when she still ends up falling anyway because of her trinket slipped, which I think it's most likely how her sister died, because I don't think we'll ever get like a full visual confirmation of how that happened.
Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I didn't realize that, but now that you say it, it is probably how the sister died, because that kind of connects with the theme of the sister didn't have enough people around her, didn't rely on enough people, but Yume does. She's not isolated, and that's why she's different, and that's why she lived.
Yep, and then she was saved by the Goldburn, and then all that stuff happened. And then in episode 10, when she finally gets to have like an alternate version of her past with her sister, where they can finally just sort of connect one last time and get some more closure on her end, where she realizes that it doesn't matter on if it was an accident or suicide that caused her sister to die. Her sister's dead, they can't change that, but now she at least has a better understanding of who her sister was. That interaction with her was beautiful.
A little bit when she undoes the puzzle, but then, right after that, she just redoes it. Is that not just like a perfect little symbol for finally like untangling her past and her complex with her sister, and then just putting that all back together and carrying it with her moving forwards?
Yes.
But the whole thing about, like, them reconnecting before they went, and the fact that, like, the exact way it happened didn't matter. It kind of, like, further cements how important she is to her. Because a lot of time I feel, I know I'm going to, like, bring up real life when I say this, but a lot of times when when circumstances like this happen, you know, people tend to, like, try to rationalize or, like, I guess, woobify the death itself and apply meaning to that, instead of just seeing it as, like, the senseless thing as it is. But I really like the way they handled it in this episode, where it's like, it's the person that Yume's sister was, which is not only why she was so sad, and it's the fact that she couldn't really connect with her when she was alive up to a certain point. It's the fact that she at least got some closure with who she is and how she felt. And those feelings are the things that she is going to carry and understand. And I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah, by the way, didn't you just love, like, that one bit where we have Andy and he's in the past, and we get to see a little bit of Akane without, like, really seeing her, but, you know, it acknowledges that she's there, and then he's just, like, standing there in the rain, and then Yomogi comes and gets him, and he's like, I didn't need your help. And it's like, well, it's funny, because, you know, that's his line, but it's also, yeah, I believe it. He didn't need his help. Because in the original series, Andy's the one that got himself out of that situation. He didn't run, he didn't hide, he fought, and he evolved into Grid Knight. So we already know he has it in him to get himself out of that.
So he was most likely just waiting for everyone else to start getting out of their pinches before he's like, alright, let's go.
Yeah, it wasn't even shown that, like, one of them were actually the ones to break him out. Maybe it was probably like, oh, the dynamo effect of that happening, but definitely could have, like, done that on his own, just first cemented by the fact that he is a grid person.
I also just like the bit with Koyomi going, and, like, what would happen if he actually went with the manager before she became the manager, just what that would have been like. And then he realizes that, oh, it wasn't really the money or anything that mattered. She just wanted to run away with him.
Be with him.
Yeah, she just wanted to run away with him and be with him. But now that that's over, he already made the mistake of just going back. He can't take that back. He's just gonna move forward with it now that he knows everything and what that means. He'll just let that be.
Yeah. I really like that they did an out there, more esoteric episode with the kaiju ability.
Yes, and in regards to the moment with Koyomi, I liked how that even then there was, like, a sense of a second thought to stay there longer. With when Yomugi came in, and it's like, dude, we need to go, but dude, we gotta go. And then they just quickly just went forward with it. But I really like that part of the scene, as small as it was, you know, just further adds to his, like, sort of sense of regret over that whole thing.
And how he came to that conclusion silently and didn't even really, like, verbally protest Yomugi. He's just, like, just looks back one last time, just, like, that he came to the conclusion on his own without verbalizing it for anyone.
By the way, what's her name? Redhead girl. I really love...
Chise.
Yeah, when she wakes up in that one episode and she doesn't have, like, the regular outfit or the hair tied back or anything, and you realize her design is aesthetic as fuck that way. Am I wrong, though?
No, you're not. That was pretty good.
It was also interesting how now we're getting a little bit more information on Gamma and the other eugenicists. Now we get to see a little bit of their time period when he, like, sort of double-crossed him. And it was interesting noting that they actually got to him before they got to Shizumu.
I'm just wondering, what the hell are the eugenicists doing now? And what did they... Actually, no, what did they see?
They got betrayed, so that probably made them even more jaded on humanity as a whole.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, when they were affected by the kaiju in episode 10, what did they see? What past were they in?
That is a good question.
I don't know. All I know was a little bit of what Mujina saw, which was past Gamma. So I wonder if they were all seeing that exact same past.
That's most likely the case. I just thought that's interesting.
I just hope... I know we're going to get more, but I can't wait to see what we get about that backstory.
By the way, just everything regarding the fight in episode 9, though, was orgasmic. The 2D, the 3D, the combination, or the gatai, as the weebs would say. The way all three things came into focus and then started combining. Or just the way that, again, gold thingy just appeared as a shield and blocked the laser blast. It was like, yes, God. Yes, God. Yes, God. I'm glad that anime's a thing. By the way, guys, that reminds me, Dynazenon makes me glad that anime exists.
As if Origin didn't do that for you already, you fucking heathen.
Honestly, I like Dynazenon more.
Ah, so Longcrit, you're only after the pretty colors, aren't you, you pleb?
It's because it's Toku, isn't it? Bias.
Well, if you hate pretty colors so much, then one day I will come to your side of the galaxy. I will invade your home and I will paint the whole inside as well as you black and white.
Those aren't even pretty colors.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
God damn. Everything about the way they managed to sequence that with just like all like the TV stack and everything just...
Yeah, that mode kind of reminded me of Persona 4 a little bit.
Yeah. By the way, Kaiser, you caught up to your eternity.
Yes, I did. And I am still really liking it. Not as much as like the first few episodes, but definitely like still like consistently pretty good.
Meanwhile, I haven't seen it. Don't spoil me on any of the emotional bits that I know the show is trying to have on every episode.
I'll try. I'm liking the current arc more than the second arc, actually.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of it has to do with the kid, Gugu, and the way the show does a good job at not only like focusing and contextualizing his conflict, really, especially since there's like no, immediate antagonist, but also him in relation to Fushi, or the Immortal, and how their whole relationship kind of balances each other and how it conflicts and stuff. I really like that.
Yeah, it is kind of cute, isn't it? Generally speaking, I'm really interested in the way that we see Fushi grow. I'm glad they're not focusing on, like, the fighting so much, because that'd be dumb.
Oh yeah, To Your Eternity, the best action shonen.
Like, okay, it has some really good action, obviously. The thing with the bear, that was amazeballs. I don't think anybody's gonna dispute this. CBF, this show has some moments. It has some of those, like, big hype moments where you'll just see some kind of one-on-one fight happening that's, like, a big thing for a particular character, and then you'll hear, like, the big music swelling up, you know? And then it'll just be, like, a mano-a-mano thing.
Yeah, like the best human story, My Hero Academia. Oh my God.
And here I thought that meme was finally dead.
It will never be dead.
Oh, memes don't die, Lone Crit, they get repurposed.
What makes this better than other sort of like tearjerker type shows like, say, Violet Evergarden, which it's when that one was kind of just like a real mixed bag?
I haven't seen Violet Evergarden, so I don't have a sort of reference point for that.
I only saw one episode, but like, I don't think the show should be held in this regard in the first place, as it's like, what, 9 episodes in? And there's only like 2 big tearjerker moments. I guess 2 or 3, but the 2 of them are back to back.
Yeah, the lead up to those moments, and especially with the Immortal's reaction to him and his experiences and how they affect him, is sort of like the core of the show, and how it largely influence how it portrays itself. And I feel that the way that it is directed and facilitated does a good job of just being more than, a tearjerker show, not to mention the fact that it isn't even all that constant.
Yeah, generally speaking, CBF, I don't think you should consider it a tearjerker show, but rather a show that is about something different, but tearjerks.
Yes.
I guess, because even, again, like Violet Evergarden, that's a tearjerker show, but that has its own plot. Every episode wants to have, like, a big emotional moment, but it's about a completely different emotional plot line about its main character just coming to terms and, like, trying to understand what love and emotions are. So what is that sort of core for To Your Eternity?
Well, it's kind of building. You know the premise?
No, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, well, basically, God, at some point in time, created a little speck that came down to Earth and turned into the first thing that it touched, which was a rock. And when it comes in contact with certain things or entities and gains an understanding or connection with them, it becomes able to transform into them. So initially, when after a couple of years a wolf dies on it, it transforms into the wolf and kind of goes from there, eventually getting humanoid beings. And it's just this thing, this blank entity with no emotions or ability to communicate or think or anything, just starting from nothing and slowly growing through various encounters with people and things and accumulating experiences.
Yes, it kind of is very dependent on stimulus, which is why, it can't turn to anything it sees. It has to be something that has some sort of significant value, either emotionally or especially in terms of physical, if it caused him pain before.
I'm reminded a little bit of Fate Apocrypha, where the main character just is a homunculus that just starts from nothing and then learns about the world, learns about people's ideologies, and eventually just becomes his own person by the end of it with people he cares about. That show is bad, by the way.
Yes, but this is actually good. This is actually good.
Yeah, this is actually good.
Also, the opening is fucking fire. Utai Hikaru needs to be in more fucking opening.
I don't really like it.
Fuck you, man.
Not gonna lie, that's actually probably my least favorite Utada Hikaru song I've heard. I love the one for Ava 1.11 way better, and also most of the Kingdom Hearts songs I've heard from her, except for 3. The other ones are great.
By the way, the God thing wasn't a figure of speech. God literally boops this entity onto planet Earth and just kind of waits to see what happens.
I mean, there is some sort of semblance of, like, maybe a larger plot going on, but that's not super prevalent right now.
Don't touch on that. Like, it doesn't really matter right now. Hell, kind of ignore the stimulus thing. It's pretty much just about this entity being blooped on Earth and accumulating experiences and growing as a result. i.e. learning how to talk, think, feel, move, and just obtaining things to strive towards. Like, when it takes its first human form, it, I think, soils itself a couple of times, which they do in a tasteful way, and eventually dies of hunger and figures out that food's good. Stuff like that.
Yes. To Your Eternity is probably my running for at least one of the best shows this season, in my opinion. It's up there with Dynazenon, personally.
Yeah, with the current arc though, I'm actually liking just the screwed upness of what's been done to Gugu, as well as just how absurd that is. CBF, it's not exactly really a spoiler, like not a real big one, it's just a setup for an arc. You've got this kid that had its entire face destroyed, and we don't know what it looks like, but it's been highly augmented and filled with like artificial bits, and it always wears a mask around.
You mean he?
Yeah, he. And, well, I said it to refer to the kid.
Kids are not people, after all. They are its. Like insects.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, he's kind of just grappling with the idea of purpose in his life and something to do or something to motivate him. Like, what's even the point of being alive for him when he's so ugly as sin that he can't really connect with people? He doesn't have the ability to live with people, and he has to find some way to justify his existence.
Yeah, they do a very good job with that. But yeah, I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't already. But with that, I believe we should probably close things out.
Yeah, we should keep searching for a way out, a way back home.
Also, Wi-Fi is coming on soon. That is the next thing that will be readily available to you guys shortly.
Hell yeah!
So yeah. Bye everyone! See ya at the end. See ya for next episode.
On the next episode of the Newtypes podcast. Coming soon to a waste of time near you.